There's very few times that I'm really speechless. If you've been following me, you know that. I am incredibly disappointed in the U.S. justice system today. And there's been no explanation from what I can find to explain why a plea deal was even considered for this monster in Idaho that crept into a home with a knife that he had bought months before to a house that he had cased. He was obsessed with another mass murderer, Ted Bundy. He went in and he systematically stabbed to death sleeping innocent people. 3 of them anyways. And then he chased and murdered 2 more. This was not this was premeditated serial killer murder. I don't care how you spin it. And our justice system today turned its back on those victims. Turned its back on those victims and those families. If this animal in Idaho that stole these lives viciously is not a death penalty case, then I'll be damned what is. This is just a very sad day for the U.S. justice system. Between this murderer in Idaho that now will be taken care, I don't care if he's locked in a cell. Oh, right. Like, that's really going to torture this man? Yeah, he's going to be locked in a cell. He's going to have 3 meals a day. He's going to get into some program. In a few years, we're going to go back and interview him. He's going to say, I found God and I was so wrong. And those poor people are still dead and gone. And those families still have no loved one at their Christmas table, their New Year's table, birthdays, holidays, babies, weddings. And the U.S. justice system failed them today. They also failed those women that were brutalized by that rapper in LA. How can we depend on our system to have law and order when it does not work? And this is 2 very big examples of how it does not work. I cannot even imagine how those families feel. The betrayal they must feel, knowing a plea deal was not even brought to them. And I've had people all day saying it's not the requirement. Well, bull. You know, you've got 4 did college kids, and you're just going to completely not have a conversation with the parents about what they're willing to accept and what they're not willing to accept? Give me a break. Put your bullshit somewhere else. I'm not buying it. What an incredibly disheartening day for our American judicial system. This is what our taxpayer dollars are doing? Really? I'd rather spend the money to put this man in front of a firing squad, hang him in the street. He doesn't deserve humanity. He didn't show humanity to those victims. He went in with a knife and he brutally murdered them. Cut them. Time over and over and over, and he stabbed them, and 3 of them had no chance to even survive it. They were asleep. He doesn't deserve any humanity. He should be taken out in the middle of the street and shot or hung or electrocuted. He doesn't deserve a needle in his arm even. That's the chicken shit way out. All I can say is thank God Texas doesn't buy into that bullshit. You murder somebody here in Texas and you're dying. Rightfully so. It's called an eye for an eye. You take somebody else's life, you don't get to have yours anymore. Waive the death penalty. No wonder we have the crime we have. You go to places across the pond and you lose your finger for stealing, or you lose half of your tongue for lying. You want to talk about brutal punishment? This is a joke. It's an absolute joke to the American justice system and to every single victim. But these 5 victims, I don't know how that prosecutor can even hold his head up. Being emotional when he's talking about it. Yeah, being emotional because you dropped the ball. You let your victims down. You didn't make this man accountable for anything. You let him down. And you should be emotional because you didn't do your job. Well, you know, he's going to go to prison, so prison has its own justice system, doesn't it? We'll see. I guess we'll just see. I hope he serves and goes to a jail and it's like hell, because that's what he deserves. Torturous hell for the rest of his life. Not some cushy 3 meals a day, turn the television on, I get to go and finish my PhD. Please. It's exactly why our country is falling apart, because we have wishy-washy liberals who think it's okay to let this kind of monster not get the ultimate punishment.